Hi there. Welcome to the Public Health Internship Orientation Prep video. This is for Spring 2021 undergraduate internships, and it's being presented in the fall of 2020. I'm happy to be here and to walk you through the steps you'll take to get started searching for your internship. A note that this video is narrated, so adjust your sound as needed or view it with closed captioning. You'll be able to do that through the YouTube viewing option, and that will be available on publichealth.arizona.edu/undergraduate/internships. I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Laura Grunwald, and I am happy to be leading you through this internship experience. I'll be guiding you from supporting your search to securing your internship and finishing your paperwork, to leading the academic class when you're actually on site with the internship. I really like working with students in these pre-professional experiences because I think it gives you a chance to apply what you've learned in the classroom to the real world. And in my experience working with students, this kind of on-the-ground, hands-on learning is often some of the most exciting learning that you will have. And a little bit more information about me. I've been an educator for almost 20 years. I have worked in both college and community settings before I came to the College of Public Health. I was the Director of Education at Ben's Bells Project here in Tucson. So I actually supervised interns there. So I've been on both sides of the coin. I've supported students at the U of A, and I've supported students who were my interns at a community organization. While I was there, I led social justice talks around kindness and masculinity and partnered with the YWCA around kindness and racial justice. I also just did a lot of talks in the community about understanding how our brains work, really basic brain science, so that we could build kind communication skills. My academic training and background is actually in writing, in cultural criticism, critical thinking, and college teaching. And I've taught first-year writing, civic engagement, gender and women's studies, literature and film, and I also teach HPS 307, a class that I created here in the College of Public Health, which is called Public Health Narratives. So that's a nice alternative if you do not want to take English 307 or 308, I think they are. So let's keep going here. This is the land acknowledgement statement for the university, and I'd like to read this. The University of Arizona sits on the original homelands of indigenous peoples who have stewarded this land since time immemorial. Aligning with the university's core value of a diverse and inclusive community, it is an institutional responsibility to recognize and acknowledge the people, culture, and history that make up the Wildcat community. At the institutional level, it is important to be proactive in broadening awareness throughout campus to ensure our students feel represented and valued. So this orientation video is going to talk about what counts as a public health internship, how many hours you'll need to complete, how to find and secure an internship. I'll go over the required forms and more. Here's the accompanying worksheet. This is a screenshot of it. So make sure that you find this. If you don't have this already, I would stop the video, print this out, or have it, not printed out, but have it on your computer on Word so that you can be answering some of these questions right as we go along with the video. And now another moment where you will want to pause the video and just take a moment to write down what is your definition of public health. So pause your video. Okay. Hopefully that was a productive exercise for you. When we're thinking about public health, it's really important to take the time to do that so that you can explain that when you're going out on your search for your internship. My definition of public health is that it's the science and art of preventing disease, promoting health, and protecting and prolonging life through organized efforts of society. We focus on the 4 Ps in public health: prevention, improving quality of life that people have; promotion, looking at the sociocultural factors that influence health and health behavior; protect and the kind of influences on our planning and implementing and evaluating effective health education programs; and promoting behavior that facilitates change. Protection, which is the elimination of disease and elimination of accidents So this includes things that increase our awareness of the dangers of health behaviors like smoking or the nutritional value of foods, and then thinking about it at the population level. So it's important for us as practitioners of public health to carry out our mission through those bigger population looks and not just at individual patients. So when you're thinking about a public health focused internship, these are just some of the categories from your classes that you've taken while you're here in the College of Public Health. So you want to look at these different categories and think about what is one of the areas where I would like to do my public health internship. And then when you're looking at the specific internships, and especially if you are finding an internship on your own, one that's not listed on the hub, you want to make sure you ask yourself, is there a clear connection to public health with this internship? It will not be approved as a public health internship unless there is that clear connection. And most of the time there is, because you all have been well prepared, but just make sure you're asking yourself that question. So when we're thinking about public health versus clinical health, it's very important that the internships are public health focused and not clinical health focused. Sometimes people in the community can be confused about this, so it's important that you all know the difference as you're going out and seeking your internship experiences. And it's crucial to note that clinical health experiences cannot count for a public health internship experience. So for example, shadowing a healthcare professional like a doctor or a pharmacist, a dentist, a physical therapist, or serving as a pharmacy or physical therapy tech, or otherwise delivering care to patients is not eligible to be counted towards a public health internship. You can absolutely still do one of these experiences, you just can't earn your 6 credits of public health internship for it. So if you've got questions or concerns about that, you want to make sure that you ask your advisor or you get in touch with me so that you can be sure that you're pursuing an internship that indeed will be public health focused. So why is there a public health internship requirement to graduate? Well, there's really many reasons. We know how valuable it is to get that hands-on experiential learning. You'll also get to take the knowledge from your classes and have a practical application. You can clarify your interests within public health and healthcare. It will help you prepare for life after graduation, and it will expand your professional network. So a notice now for spring 2021. As with this past summer and as currently with fall, all internships and internship activities must be completed remotely for spring 2021. So what this means is that if you will not be graduating until December 2021 or later, you may want to wait for your internship in the hopes that you might be able to do it in person. I will now say with confidence that at the end of spring, where all internships had to convert to fully online, and then through summer and now in fall, students have been finding terrific internship opportunities that are fully remote. In public health, we're very fortunate that our whole field has responded in that way. So we know I have over 100 students in the internship this fall. We have utter confidence in you that you'll be able to find a great, engaging experience. You can look on the hub and you can be searching on your own as well. But it is very important that all the activities must be fully remote. So here are your internship course options. HBS 493A is the one that most people take. This is the required internship, and you need 6 units of 493A to graduate. Honors students can take 493H, which is 493A plus an honors additional assignment. And then HPS 493B is an elective internship. So this is for students who have already completed their required internship units and want to do more internship units. Occasionally we have students who are minoring in public health who do the elective internship. But again, most students end up enrolling in 493A for the required internship. And as I said, 6 units are required to graduate. The prerequisites are completion of HPS 350. You must have your public health professional major status. You have to have this internship orientation completed, and then you'll have a completed and signed work plan, preceptor agreement, and COVID risk assessment. These are completed and signed by both you and the preceptor at your internship. So you don't even start filling out those forms until you already have an internship offer. And all 3 forms are submitted on D2L. There's a Dropbox, an assignment Dropbox, and that's where you submit them for approval. 493H, as I said, is the alternative for honors students. The prerequisites include everything that I just went over, plus enrollment in the honors college. And during your internship semester, there's an extra honors assignment, and you are required to have the same forms as on the last slide. And then 493B, the elective, so this is not required to graduate. The prerequisites are completion of HPS 178 and HPS 200, plus 6 units of other public health coursework. And as with the required internship, you'll have the internship orientation completed, you'll have these 3 required forms completed and signed, and you'll submit it to the D2L Dropbox. So when you're enrolled for your 6 required units, there's a couple different ways you can do this. The first option is to split the 6-unit requirement into 2 semesters, where you do 3 units in one semester and 3 units in a subsequent semester. This is the preferred course that we recommend to students. It's easier to balance with your other coursework. It's easier to balance with your other job and life commitments. And it also just gives you a lot of options. Option 2 is completing all 6 required units in one semester. We do have a healthy number of students who do that. And then option 3 is completing 2 separate internships for 3 units each at 2 different agencies, and this is usually over the course of 2 semesters. A note on enrollment during the spring. So during your internship semester, students cannot exceed the university maximum limit of 19 units. And in fact, in public health, we strongly recommend that you take 16 units or fewer during the internship semester. I would say this is even more the case with fully online internships. I don't know what classes are going to look like in the spring, but I know that some of them will be fully online. And I know from working with you all this semester and hearing from students in my classes, it's overwhelming to do everything online. So take as low a number of units as you can during your internship semester or semesters so that you can really get the most out of that experience. And of course, tuition and fees are assessed as you are enrolling in these internship course units. Spring contact hours. So if you do enroll for 6 units, you're required to earn 250 hours within the semester. And over the course of 15 weeks, that's about 17 hours a week. And then if you enroll for 3 units, that's 125 contact hours. So over the course of 15 weeks, that's about 8.5 hours a week. When your internship contact hours can count, the first day will be Wednesday, January 13th, and the last day will be Wednesday, May 5th. So you may not count any contact hours before or after those days. Here's some advice from your peers who have already completed this internship experience. Talk to your academic advisor about what semester you should plan to do your internship. Great advice. Really consider doing your internship over 2 semesters so you can get a deeper view of the agency work. A benefit of doing 2 internships is that I now have a larger professional network. More advice here. Because many opportunities come up during your internship, limit your other commitments so that you can take advantage of these cool experiences. When planning your other classes, be sure to build in the time it takes to get to your internship site. So caveat here, since it will be fully online, you still want to build in that extra time because you want to make sure you're going to have time to set up your workspace, that you'll be able to, transition into work appropriate clothing, at least from the waist up, and that you just have everything set up. So you won't have a drive of 20 minutes, but you will still be juggling with your other commitments. And I know some of you, many of you even, will be working, and that may very well be outside of your home, in which case you want to make sure that you've got the time allowed to make it back to your computer and be available for any of the virtual or Zoom meetings and things like that you'll have. So I want to go over the responsibilities now. Here are the responsibilities for you as the student, making sure that you understand the internship criteria and that you search for internships. So you all will conduct your own search. You're not placed. You get to seek out and find an internship that will be a great fit for you. You want to always be professional when you're reaching out. You want to communicate your interests and needs, including that this is a public health focused internship, and that you have made clear the number of contact hours you'll need. And then you want to complete all of your college and agency paperwork for enrollment in the units. My responsibilities as the course instructor will be sharing opportunities with students about internship sites, including postings on the hub. So be watching for those. And as we move further into the semester, I will even send out emails sometimes if there are some new postings. I will review your required paperwork, those 3 forms: work plan, preceptor agreement, and COVID risk assessment. And remember, you will submit those to the D2L Dropbox. I will communicate with the public health advising team, and they will enroll you in your units once your work plan and other paperwork have been approved. And I'll serve as an ongoing contact for you and with your preceptor in case anything comes up. And then finally, I grade your internship academic assignments and assign the final internship grade. And then the responsibilities of your site preceptor, who is the site supervisor, so the main person you work with at your internship site. They'll work with you to design and sign off on those required forms. And note that all the forms do require that your preceptor's signature. They'll serve as a mentor, they'll answer questions and help you resolve issues. They'll discuss any issues with me as necessary, and they will complete your midterm and final evaluations, and they'll sign off on your activity logs, also submitted at the midterm and final. Okay, so more advice from students. Make a copy of the agency and preceptor responsibilities from the internship manual and give it to the preceptor when you're asking about opportunities or interviewing for a position. Great advice. Then that preceptor really understands, potential preceptor really understands what the expectations are. So now let's move into some tips on finding an internship. So the sky's the limit. You can really be anywhere with these fully remote internships. A lot of you will still end up finding internships with Tucson agencies, but it's exciting to think if you have a connection somewhere in another state that you could easily do that internship because of the nature of all the internships in Spring 21 being fully remote. So here are some tips. You want to start looking now. It is not too soon. The sooner you get your search started, you will not be panicking. I will tell you now, and I'll remind you that you must have your internship secured and all your paperwork on file before classes start. So students can't register once the semester gets going. And so you want to start looking now. You don't want to create more stress and panic for yourself. So make your plans, set it out in your calendar, set some dates for yourself. You also want to just tell everyone you know. Expand your network, let people know I'm looking for an internship. If you hear of anything, please think of me. And you want to take advantage of the college and university resources. So you talk with your academic advisor about your interests, follow up with any guest speakers in your classes, read the college and campus announcements emails, and utilize the online resources available through the Hub and Handshake. The Hub, as you, I hope, know, is our internal site for students in MEZCOPH, and you'll find the tab to connect right on our main website. And then once you're onto the Hub, you'll log in to the secure portal. And then we will go under undergraduate students. You can go find the internship option, and then you can find the undergraduate internship opportunities. And under the opportunities, you'll see different ones listed. And then you click on the individual opportunities, and that's where you'll find a job description for the internship. You'll find how many interns they're looking for, the sort of duties. Occasionally there's compensation for the internships. That doesn't typically happen, but we do. We did have a few in the fall that had some compensation, which is exciting. So be looking at the Hub regularly, because there are, and I would say especially starting in like mid-late October, be looking a lot, because that's when the new internship opportunities for spring will start coming in. Although I'll tell you, there's already internship opportunities up for spring. And there's also an ongoing section on the Hub. So you can go to that at any time and see things that will be available in spring and even in summer. So when you're thinking about searching on your own, so let's say you have an idea in mind or you've looked at the hub and nothing's sparking your interest initially, you're going to want to do some keyword searching. So first you'll want to go to the hub because you can look at the keywords that have been used on the job descriptions for the hub. And this is especially good advice if you feel like you want to look in a community that's outside of Tucson. So what are the keywords that our long-term partners in Tucson community organizations are using? And then when you're searching in Los Angeles or Denver or Chicago or wherever you might be, you can be looking at those same kind of keywords for a Google search there. So you might go to Google and type in healthy habits or epidemiology in Chicago or employee wellness program, Phoenix, and you can see what those search results are. You can also do this in the map function of Google Maps, which is kind of an interesting way to do it because then it'll show you where it is. So if you're in Scottsdale and you don't want to drive all the way across the Metro Phoenix area to an internship, you can rule something out that's over in Mesa or on the west side of the metropolitan area. So this is a good strategy if you're looking outside of Tucson, but it's also a great strategy for Tucson itself if you just want to find out what's available out there. And also really do think about your network because that's where you're really going to find the unique opportunities that might just be a perfect fit for you. This is the Handshake platform, which is available through UA's Student Engagement and Career Development, or SECD. This is a great career services platform and resource for you. This has opportunities throughout Arizona and throughout the world, paid and unpaid. You go into Handshake and create an account if you haven't done that already, and then you complete a profile. And the more time you spend creating your profile, the more opportunities will become available to you. So check this out and see this as another helpful resource. So don't limit yourself when you're thinking about your internship search. You want to really think creatively, as I said, or thinking outside the box, as they say. So we have a student doing an internship this semester at an organization called Flowers and Bullets, which is a community organization on the south side of Tucson. When I was at Ben's Bells, there was a college public health intern at Ben's Bells. So it doesn't have to just be something that's a traditional organization. In the summer, we had a student at the Beyond Foundation. So really think about the organizations that you admire in Tucson. If you love El Rio, do some research. Don't limit yourself. See what you might find at El Rio. If you're at a doctor's appointment and you are talking with someone, ask them, hey, do you ever have public health interns? And they can probably connect you with somebody, even if they don't have the direct line themselves to that program. Okay, a little bit more advice from students. Do not be afraid to reach out to possible preceptors, even when they're not listed on the hub. Just as I was saying, with don't limit yourself. I was able to acquire my internship by simply reaching out to my preceptor and saying, do you have an internship position open? I found a really unique opportunity that I was able to get because I asked that simple question. And this is a moment to really channel your bravery. It's 100% okay to make cold calls as first contact. And if you're not familiar with what a cold call is, that's where you simply call someone up and let them introduce yourself, and then you let them know you're interested in learning if they've got internship opportunities. You can also ease into that a little bit more by sending out an inquiry email and then follow up with a phone call or follow up with another email if you haven't heard back after a week. I think the key here is to let them know you're interested in exploring opportunities, and even if they don't have something, is there someone else in the organization that they could connect you with who might be able to talk about the kind of internships that are available? So you want to take advantage of any kind of opportunities where you have a connection, again, guest speakers, anything that you see just happening in the community, or if you attend any kind of virtual talk or virtual lecture this fall, follow up and pursue those opportunities. You also want to focus on creating your elevator speech. So this is the 1 to 2 minute intro to who you are. You want to tell them what you can do for the agency. You want to be brief and you want to speak confidently. So you want to include some information about who you are, and on the orientation worksheet, there's a link to a website that will actually walk you through creating your elevator speech. And this is a good idea to do right now at this stage in the game, so you kind of know how you're going to introduce yourself. when you get ready to do that via email or via phone or via Zoom, however you end up interacting with the potential agency. Remember, the only internship you don't have a shot at is the one you don't seek out. And reaching out doesn't commit you to accepting. So I've definitely had students who have been in the position where they get to choose, do I want internship A or B? And then they really get to think about it. And you do not have to accept an internship just because you have been made an offer. And just because you reach out, you absolutely are not committed to going through with that internship. This is exploratory at this point when you're first getting started. But you also want to be prepared when you're doing so. You want to orient the agency and the preceptor to you. So taking a copy of your resume, or having a copy of your resume that you can email to them easily is a great idea. You want to make sure you're orienting anyone you're talking to public health if that's something that they need clarified. Sharing your definition of public health, making sure that you're clear that you're looking for a public health experience and not a clinical experience. And then orienting them to the internship experience itself. So again, having a copy of the internship manual, or as one of the advice from your peers suggested, even if you just have a screenshot of that page that's for the agency and for the preceptor, then a potential preceptor who hasn't worked with us before can say, oh, okay, I get it. I know what I need to do to support an internship in my agency. And remember to be professional in all inquiries and interactions. This could be the person who hires you for an internship. This could be a person who writes you a letter of recommendation along the line. And even if you just make contact with them, you might end up in an internship in another agency, but connecting with the first agency. So you want to make sure you're being professional and respectful and dignified in all your inquiries and interactions. A little more advice from your peers. Start your search as soon as you finish this orientation. This is so important. That might be the best piece of advice you're going to get on here. Talk to your classmates, friends, parents, mentors, advisors, everyone. Actually practice your elevator speech ahead of time. Create a spreadsheet of agencies that you reach out to and or apply to. Now, this last suggestion is a great idea because it also helps you keep track of when you reached out to those agencies. And if you haven't heard back, then you'll know I'll give them at least a week, maybe 10 days, especially this early on before I respond or before I start to worry that I might not hear back from them. More advice. Before doing an interview, review the agency website and think about your answers to common interview questions. Yes, you want to know a little bit about that agency because what if someone says, well, why do you want to intern with us? And if you haven't spent some time looking at it, that's not going to create the best impression. And then more advice, inquire to see if you can shadow current interns or volunteer for a day before committing. So in this semester, what that might be would be asking if you could Zoom with an intern or a volunteer to ask them, what's a day-to-day experience like? What's a weekly experience like at this internship agency? And then make sure you send a thank you note or email after any interviews or informational Zooms or any of the phone calls that you have. The more times you put yourself out there, the more likely you are to get your dream internship. Very true. And use Dr. Gronwald and your academic advisors as resources as you start your search. Again, great idea. Your advisor can help you look at the classes that you've already completed, and I can help you strategize on those search strategies and really getting ready to reach out to the agencies themselves. So this is how you get enrolled. Very important. So pre-approval is required for enrollment. So that means you have to complete this internship orientation and complete the worksheet and email it to me, and then you get enrolled in the D2L prep course site. It's a non-credit site. And then once you're enrolled there, that's when you start your internship search, and that's where you'll find the templates for the forms you'll need to complete in order to get enrolled. That's the work plan, the preceptor agreement, and the COVID risk assessment. The work plan is something that you will complete a little bit of, and then you will also complete most of it with your preceptor. This incorporates a university-mandated assumption of risk and release. It requires your signature and the preceptor's signature. And with your preceptor, you will have a purpose statement that you create. You'll create learning objectives, and you'll create proposed activities that you'll complete within the scope of the internship time period. So either 1 semester or 2 semesters. and you want to be specific and ambitious when you're creating these. There is a screenshot of what the internship work plan will look like. Note that your work plan and your actual experience should not include the cliched negative associations of the internship, coffee runs, filing papers, etc. And remember, the internship is not a burden or just a graduation requirement, but it really is a great opportunity to make meaningful contributions to an agency and to your community. And honestly, many students say this is their favorite class that they've taken throughout their time at U of A and in the College of Public Health. The preceptor agreement is a form used to confirm the preceptor understands their role, and this also requires their signature on the form. And this is a screenshot of that preceptor agreement. Again, you'll find that on the D2L prep course site. And then the COVID risk assessment. Now, this is a new form required by the university to ensure student safety during coronavirus mitigation. As a reminder, all of the MEZCOPH internships for spring 2021 must be fully remote. So on this form, it's very simple. Your preceptor will mark no on page 1 and initial that, skip page 2, and you will both sign on page 3. And this is an example of page 1 of that COVID risk assessment, and this is required by the university. So what are your due dates for your required forms? If you want a spring internship, you need to submit your forms by Tuesday, December 15th in order to be registered for the class. So you have plenty of time, especially if you are watching this early in the semester. The earlier you watch it, the better. You're going to have a chance of finding a great internship. But students find things right up through that second week in December. So if you're watching this toward the end of November, you still have time to find a great internship. And as a reminder, you turn all 3 forms in on the D2L prep course site, and you'll be added to that site after you email me your orientation worksheet. Once you're on that dedicated D2L site, you will go to the content page where you'll find important course information and documents. That's where you will find the slides from this orientation. That's where you will find a sample internship manual, and that's where you will also find the work plan, preceptor agreement, and COVID risk assessment. And then under assignments, you want to go to upload paperwork for spring 2021 enrollment, and you want to upload all of your 3 forms there in that D2L Dropbox. Some agencies have some additional requirements, so you may want to ask about this if there are any additional required forms or steps, such as an affiliation agreement, a background check, or a TB test or other medical proof of health status. Since your internship will be fully remote, I don't know that health status is going to be germane to the spring semester, but the background check and the affiliation agreement may well be. So ask about that, because especially with that lag between fall and spring semester, that could be a great time to get a jump start on a few forms. Now, you wouldn't be able to count your contact hours, but that would ensure that when you start in January, you could jump right into the work, as opposed to needing to fill out forms during those first 2 weeks and maybe losing some time to log valuable hours. So starting your search early does allow you time to get all the required forms and steps completed. Okay, more advice from students. Do not accept an internship if you're not sure about it being a good fit for you. Talk to Dr. Gronwald if you aren't sure how to ask for more time to make a decision or decline an internship. Yes, I help students with that every semester. And know that your preceptor may take time to complete the forms. So you want to start working on those as soon as you have the internship offer, and you want to make sure that you allow your preceptor some time to complete those forms. So I do also want to just take a moment to acknowledge this is a learning process. You don't know everything yet, and you're not expected to know everything yet. That's true with the internship search, that's true with the paperwork, that's true with the internship itself. You're going to learn so much from this process, and you've got a good team with your advisor, with your faculty who might be able to connect you with people, with your network, and with me to support you. I also want to acknowledge that you're human, which means mistakes happen. and I am here to help you strategize, just as a reminder. So as I said at the beginning, I really like helping students with these pre-professional experiences. And so just know that you've got a support team with me and the advisors here for you. Okay, I want to go over the academic assignments because there are a few graded academic assignments for this class, and that is because federal regulations require an academic component in addition to work experience. And so in addition to federal regulations, we also are a part of the Council on Education for Public Health, which is a national accrediting body. It's a really big accomplishment to be part of CEF, and we're very proud of that. And so we want to make sure that we are doing all of the things required to support our students with these great internship experiences. So in addition to your contact hours, you'll spend about 20 hours working on the internship assignments, reports, LinkedIn profile, ePortfolio, etc. And really quickly, before I go into these common questions, I want to note that I've already reduced your overall internship hours to 250 for 6 units and 125 for 3 units because of those 20 hours you'll spend on the internship requirements. So just know that that's already built in, that actually the university requirement is 270 hours for a 6-unit internship and 145 hours or 135 hours rather for the 3-credit internship. So I've accounted for that and built in that buffer. Okay, so let me go over some common questions here. Why don't you just assign me an internship? Students ask that sometimes. And that's because you're all unique as students and your post-graduation plans are unique, and I don't want to mandate that you work, let's say, in the community food bank if you don't want to work around food insecurity in your career. So it really works best for students to be in charge of finding a great internship for them. This also prepares you for the job search, which you will all be doing eventually, and it will really help you hone those skills for that. Can I get paid? Absolutely. We all wish that all of our internships were paid. As I said, there have been some paid internships with stipends this fall, so you can absolutely get paid for your internship. Can I do my internship at my regular job? The answer to this is maybe / potentially. The university has specific rules about doing an internship at a specific job. So you cannot have the same supervisor for your regular job and your internship, and you cannot have any of the same job duties that you have for your regular job and your internship. But if it is a public health focused additional opportunity, and if you can identify those new roles, then it's possible to do an internship at your current job site. Does your internship need to be in Tucson? Absolutely not, and especially not this coming spring when all the internships will be fully remote. You can do them wherever you find a great opportunity. Can I do multiple internships? Absolutely. As mentioned before, you could do 2 internships over the course of 2 semesters. You can even do a 3rd internship for those elective credits. Students do that as well to continue to build their internship opportunities. And do internships lead to jobs? Yes, absolutely. Every semester students get jobs through their internships. Sometimes it's not necessarily with the internship site, but with a community partner that they have learned about and worked with while they were at their internship. So it happens every semester, and it's always really exciting when it does. And will my internship be valuable and fun? Yes, the internship is an amazing experience. You're going to learn so much. If you find that it's not valuable and that you're not learning a lot and enjoying the experience, please reach out and we can talk and strategize about how we can make that a different experience for you. A few required notices as I get ready to wrap up here. The internship instructor, college, and university are not responsible for any financial obligations, including but not limited to travel, transportation, housing arrangements, medical care for injuries related to the internship experience. Your next step is to finish the orientation worksheet that you've hopefully been working on all along and getting access to the dedicated public health internship prep course site, and then starting your internship search after that. If you have any questions, let me know. laurag1@email.arizona.edu. I'm doing internship office hours by appointment and available via Zoom or phone. And also, I really encourage you to use your public health undergraduate advising team. Anais, Elsa, Melanie, and Abba are amazing. They all have backgrounds in public health agencies in the community and or here in the U of A College of Public Health as a student or, of course, as an advisor. And so they're just a huge resource to you in this experience and in all your classes. So I encourage you to take advantage of those wonderful people who are on your team as well. So thanks